Hi, my name is Annika Johnson. I'm a junior at Lexington High School. I think my heritage was a large part of my motivation to take action on climate change. So, a big part of this is that my family is from Kerala, India, and whenever we visited, I was really struck by how sustainable people's lifestyles are there. So, just my family or people I see in the street have been making changes for a long time that I think people in the US are just starting to make. So, one small example is that here, I think recently when I go to the grocery store, I see that everyone has a reusable bag. But in Kerala, I've been seeing that for my whole life, and their sustainability goes way beyond that. But I think just seeing that kind of good example of environmentalism being incorporated into people's daily lives inspired me to think about how my personal actions could be more environmentally friendly. I think that COVID has really highlighted environmental health issues. So in Massachusetts, there are certain cities who have been hardest hit by the pandemic, and these are cities like Chelsea, Brockton, Everett, Lynn, Randolph, and Lawrence. And these cities have a lot in common, which is that they have high levels of air pollution, high minority populations, and low income residents. And this is not a coincidence. We know that years of redlining and other housing discrimination has forced POC, especially Black people, into communities that are hazardous in many ways. In this case, it's because there's a source of air pollution. It's very common that it's some type of fossil fuel combustion, and this can lead to higher risk of respiratory issues in these communities, including asthma, which eventually gives way to these populations being more vulnerable to COVID-19. It's disprivileged communities who are being affected the most and being affected first by climate change. It's people of color, including Black people and Native people, who are being affected. People of low socioeconomic status are being greatly affected. And this is largely because of underlying systemic issues. If you care about social issues, you should care about environmental issues. Individual action on its own cannot be enough. We cannot afford to ignore climate change. An important way to get involved and to further help these populations is to become engaged in the environmental justice movement.